Theater. A view from the top of the world. Yeah, apparently the 15th studio album. Here's the thing, I was gonna initially, wait with this one and give the other albums a chance so I can make a proper statement. Because initially my first actual album was essentially their Distance Over Time. And I liked it at the time a lot. Though it seems that the bonus track seems to have grown on me more. Sadly, I didn't hate the rest of the album necessarily. It just kind of bled into itself, I guess. I don't know. At least that's what's happened with me with that one lately. But I do remember. But what I needed to do was give a proper discography review. Or at least go through their discography binge of this band. Speaking of that, I probably need to do that for Mastodon once more. Those were always fun to do. And this time I want to definitely do it again. Hopefully, if I have time, prior to the one album. So, and as you've heard, which is the lead single, the first track of this record, The Alien, it's fine. It didn't blow my mind. And even when it gets to the point where that's what's become of Dream Theater for even a diehard Dream Theater fan like Mike from Become the Night. Yeah, that didn't help me either. Even though I will at least give Petrucci credit, he was at least trying to do something a little bit different for himself at least, even if it's not that different even by modern prog standards, because he decided to go to do 8 strings. Good for him, you know. And Mangini actually bothered to play pretty well here, because he realized that was his stronger suit than actually writing songs, which apparently he did do on one of the tracks, and it was okay from the last record. I mean, the one thing they still remain consistent on, personally to me, is at least their album covers. Can we at least say that their album covers look kind of neat, you know? Still, can we say that they're consistent there? Whoever they've been hiring, can we say that? And the thing that is, I probably would like this album more. The problem is, I got more from Petrucci himself through his other projects, the ones he actually did with Portnoy. His solo album, Terminal Velocity, last year, and even more so what we kind of got from his... And you don't know kind of my thoughts on, I believe, the Liquid Tension Experiment. I might have talked about that one. But believe it or not, I would rather listen to that than this. Still, even though, yeah, I'd say that's not as strong as the first Liquid Tension Experiment, which for that was the basis of the previous 3 albums, and that actually leading to a magnum opus for Dream Theater, apparently. Hell, I even went through their Images and Words is great, and even though the other albums may not seem too much to where it could seem like it could blur into Images and Words, those albums are still fine, and they have their moments on there that stand out in a good way. I would, Between Awake and, I think it's Infinity on High? I want to say it's just Infinity, though. But those albums aren't bad. I get that they come blurred together a little bit after what Dream Theater already did on a couple other records, and then they did that one album in 99, following up the Liquid Tension Experiment album. That album, great instrumental record. I understand why people talk up scenes from Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory a lot more, because especially given that it is literally a sequel to a specific track from Images and Words, and make an actual album out of it and actually work. And I can understand it was a hard follow-up even with Turbulence, even though that album was essentially, first half at least, that was considered of it, was more so their attempt at nu metal, or at least their attempt at doing a better job of bringing in some new metal elements in a way that screams, hey, we can do a better Saint Anger than Metallica. And not have to rely on shitty drums like sound like trash cans. Or at least we'll just leave that to Lamb of God, because they know how to do it well, or at least know how to put it so forward in the mix that it buries everything else. It makes everything else seem incompetent. I don't know. Because that's what's kind of happened here. I'm just saying. And even though the latter half wasn't that, blah, 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 blah. I'm not bored with this record necessarily, but it just doesn't do a whole... I'd say it doesn't do a whole lot for me. But yet, I weirdly might be one of those few people that will defend Train of Thought for what it is. I get that As I Am is probably the biggest highlight of that record, though having gone through Turbulence, at least the way it ends and how that somehow, the way they ended that track, literally ties into how they start that track, that start into As I Am to start the album off. And I also understand how that became a good foundation for what we would get out of Avenged Sevenfold, essentially, and why it seemed Avenged Sevenfold decided to get more like Portnoy when he left. Or at least it made their wheels turn into attempting to do a prog record that wasn't terrible at the time. Even though I wouldn't say it was probably as good as some of their more classic albums between the self-titled and the City of Evil with that band. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about them. And honestly, their later albums didn't do as much for me. There were moments in it that worked, but they weren't like bad experiences. I didn't like hate myself for listening to anything they've done. And I don't know if there was a point where I would yet. You know? And I'm starting to wonder if I will be getting to that point within the band's later outputs. And I've yet to even finish a series of A Dramatic Turn of Events yet, which was the last Portnoy record. So I have yet to get to the other albums up until Distance Over Time, which I have gotten to. So I understand if it's not so much for the diehards, but overall, there's not much I can truly say other than I liked. Well, some people don't care for the tracks just in Answering the Call or Transcending Time, but maybe because I hear some things about it being part of self-titled, and if honestly, or at least for Transcending Time, but I kind of liked what I heard from these tracks. And I would still pick them mostly over what I got out of... I like the tracks, those tracks specifically more. I still don't care for them, but I like them a little bit more in the context of the record. But still not enough to really stand out for me. When the singles are literally your weakest selling point, it doesn't say a whole lot, but... Yeah, A View from the Top of the World isn't closing title track isn't bad, but it doesn't do... And it's not bad at all, it just doesn't do a whole lot for me that I haven't gotten out of other albums already at this point from them. But I weirdly also prefer... And of course, I totally understand people who consider Sleeping Giant and Weekend the Master to be some of the better records for sure, tracks for sure on this thing. And yeah, they're good. But overall, it's one of these guys for me, guys. I'm sort of leaning more positively though, but not quite by much. It's not even close. I don't know if the band's got it in them to really bring it. I guess I do hear moments where the bass pops in, but it's very little. Like the keys do some stuff. I think it was either Waking the Monster or in Sleeping Giant or something, where I actually heard like some old-timey piano stuff that was pretty cool, like in a Western bar, a scene in a Western bar type of the thing that was kind of cool. On terms of the keyboards, that I've liked. That was something I thought was cool that I didn't think I heard so far from the albums I got here from them. So, yeah, but yeah, overall, I that's why I'm leaning more positive, because stuff like that does happen on this stuff. So, but yeah, I wasn't too huge on the record, but We'll see how I feel once I actually do a proper discography. So, I mean, if you got to take what I got here with a little bit of a grain of salt, I understand. But I liked it. I just kind of, that's not really saying enough. Especially given, there are other things in progressive metal that have come out lately that's done better, despite what some people say. And kind of does bother me that I found out one of my buddies that is the BT Bam fan. Not this part isn't only related to review, so I understand if you check out at this point. But yeah, just me a slight rant. I don't understand. I feel bad, I guess, for certain BT Bam fans who are in that category that say that it didn't do much for them, for the Colors too. But I like it a lot still. I still feel like wanting to go back to the record a lot. So, regardless of what people will say, I still want to go back to that thing. Luckily, there's another album that kind of satisfied in a proper kind of way that I'll talk about. That'll also be on this channel that I'll probably release after I upload this baby. But what did you think of Dream Theater's A View from the Top of the World? Did you like it more than me? Did you not like it more than me? Did you about the same? All this stuff. You can leave a comment. Let me know if you'd like. If you'd like this video, whack that like button with the rest of your mouse, please. Also, you can... links in the description below, probably to my Facebook page. You can like and follow me there. Also, before you even do that as well, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell if you want to see more from me, and if you liked what I somewhat had to say in this review. But yeah, overall, you could do better from Dream Theater. And you can find better Dream Theater related stuff too. But, I think it's fine. It's satisfactory enough for me, but I understand if there are some people who have my score and want to go on the negative side a little bit, just a little bit. But it's not me. I'm more leaning to the positive, just so you know. But because I did get some of the little things out of it, but it's fine. Once again, what did you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.